Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we're diving into the mind of a creature you might see buzzing around your garden, the bumblebee. An unassuming buzz usually just means a flower is about to be pollinated. But what if I told you that beneath that familiar fuzzy exterior lies a mind of unexpected complexity, a cognitive world that is forcing scientists to rethink the very nature of intelligence? We are witnessing a paradigm shift in our understanding of animal cognition, and at the heart of this revolution is the bumblebee's remarkable capacity for symbolic pattern recognition. This isn't just about recognizing a flower's shape, it's about grasping abstract concepts, a cognitive leap once thought to be the exclusive territory of large-brained vertebrates. For centuries, the intricate behaviors of insects were mostly dismissed as rigid instinct, a pre-programmed set of responses. The famous honeybee waggle dance, a complex series of movements used to communicate the location of food, was seen as a marvel of innate programming, not flexible intelligence. But this view is being dismantled. Scientists are discovering that social insects like bees possess a surprising degree of cognitive flexibility, with the ability to learn, remember, and even solve new problems. The journey into the mind of the bumblebee is a journey to the frontiers of neuroscience, a captivating exploration of how a brain, smaller than a sesame seed, can perform feats that challenge our deepest assumptions about the animal kingdom. Our appreciation for the cognitive abilities of bees has been a long and incremental journey. Early in the 20th century, the pioneering work of Carl von Frisch on the honeybee's waggle dance provided the first compelling evidence of symbolic communication in an invertebrate. He deciphered the dance, showing that the angle of the bee's run represents the direction of food relative to the sun, while the duration of the waggle communicates distance. This was revolutionary, suggesting bees could create and interpret a symbolic representation of their environment. However, for a long time, the waggle dance was seen as a specialized, isolated skill. The big shift began when scientists started asking not just what bees do, but what they can learn to do. This led to experiments using tools like the Y-maze, where a bee chooses between two paths, each with a different stimulus. By rewarding the bee for choosing the correct one, researchers found bees could learn to associate specific colors, scents, and patterns with a sugary reward. They even mastered a concept known as matching to sample. In this task, a bee is shown a sample, like a blue color, and then has to pick the matching blue stimulus from a choice of blue versus yellow. Success in this task demonstrates a level of cognitive processing beyond simple stimulus response, showing they can hold a representation in working memory. These early studies, mostly with honeybees, set the stage for even more surprising discoveries with their larger, fuzzier cousins, the bumblebees. Could they grasp abstract concepts and use symbols to represent the world? The answer, as a new generation of researchers would find, was a resounding yes. The idea that an insect could understand a human-invented symbolic language might sound like science fiction, yet a series of ingenious experiments has provided compelling evidence. One of the most striking demonstrations comes from a study where bumblebees were taught a simplified version of Morse code. Researchers at Queen Mary University of London designed a maze where bumblebees were presented with a choice between two flashing lights. One light flashed for a short duration, a dot, while the other flashed for a longer duration, a dash. For one group of bees, the short flash was associated with a sweet, sugary reward, while the long flash was paired with a bitter-tasting substance. For another group, the associations were reversed. The bees quickly learned to associate the specific temporal pattern of the light flash with the outcome, consistently flying towards the signal that promised a treat. To ensure the bees were truly learning the symbolic meaning, the positions of the signals were randomly changed in each trial. After training, even when no reward or punishment was present, the majority of bees continued to fly towards the pattern that had previously meant sugar. This showed they had internalized the meaning of the symbols. This experiment was groundbreaking. it showed that bumblebees could process and make decisions based on purely temporal information, using artificial stimuli they would never encounter in nature. This suggests a general cognitive ability, not just a specialized skill for, say, timing foraging trips. But it gets even more astonishing. Bees have also demonstrated an ability to connect abstract symbols to numerical quantities. In experiments with honeybees, researchers used a Y maze where, at the entrance, the bees were shown either a symbol, like an N shape, or a number of items, like 2 circles. When they reached the decision chamber, they had to make the correct match. If they saw the N-shaped symbol, they had to choose the option with 2 shapes. If they saw 3 circles, they had to choose the inverted T-shaped symbol. Correct choices were rewarded with sugar. Incorrect choices led to a bitter solution. After many trials, the bees learned to correctly match symbols to quantities, with an accuracy of around 75%. This is the first time an insect has been shown to understand a symbolic language for mathematics. While primates and birds have shown similar abilities, the fact that a creature with a brain containing less than 1 million neurons can grasp such an abstract concept is truly remarkable, especially when you compare it to the 86 billion neurons in a human brain. However, these experiments also revealed limitations. A bee trained to match a symbol to a number could not then reverse that knowledge to match a number to a symbol. This suggests that while bees can form these symbolic associations, their understanding isn't as flexible as that of vertebrates. Researchers hypothesize that, similar to the human brain, number processing and symbol understanding might occur in different regions of the bee brain. So how does a brain with fewer than 1 million neurons accomplish these tasks? The answer lies in the remarkable efficiency and specialized architecture of the insect brain. The key to their intelligence isn't the sheer number of neurons, but the clever organization of their neural circuits. Computational models of the bee brain are giving us insights. One recent study created a digital version of a bee's brain and showed that the way bees move their bodies during flight actively shapes the visual information they receive. This generates unique electrical signals in their brains that allow them to efficiently identify predictable features. This concept is known as active vision, suggesting perception and action are deeply intertwined. The model also revealed that bee neurons become finely tuned to specific directions and movements simply through repeated exposure, a highly efficient form of learning. The model suggests bees use only a few active neurons to recognize things, a testament to their neural efficiency. Researchers even validated the model by tasking it with differentiating between a plus sign and a multiplication sign. The model's performance improved significantly when it mimicked the real bee's strategy of scanning only the lower half of the patterns, a behavior observed in a previous study. This suggests the bee's flight and scanning behaviors are integral to pattern recognition. At the heart of the insect brain's learning capabilities are structures called mushroom bodies. These densely packed clusters of neurons are involved in sensory integration, learning, and memory. In bees, they play a crucial role in processing information from vision and smell, and forming the necessary associations for learning. Scientists recording neuron activity in bumblebee brains found that as visual information travels to the central brain, the way it's encoded changes. They observed an increase in the temporal precision of neural responses, suggesting the brain is refining the signal to extract the most relevant information. They also found a segregation of processing. Neurons projecting to the anterior part of the central brain were sensitive to color, while those projecting to the posterior were sensitive to motion. This parallel processing allows the brain to handle a large amount of information efficiently. The cognitive abilities of bumblebees even extend beyond a single sense. They possess the remarkable capacity for cross-modal recognition, the ability to experience an object in one sensory modality, like touch, and later recognize it using another, like vision. This suggests they have a mental image of an object that isn't tied to a single sense. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Science provided the first evidence of this in an invertebrate. Researchers trained bumblebees in complete darkness to discriminate between cubes and spheres using only their sense of touch, rewarding them for choosing the correct shape. Afterwards, the bees were tested in the light, where they could see the objects but not touch them. Amazingly, the bees that learned the shapes by touch were able to subsequently recognize them by sight alone. And it worked the other way around too. This ability to form abstract, multisensory representations was once thought to be a hallmark of the primate brain. This interplay of senses is crucial for their everyday survival, particularly when foraging. Flowers are complex, multisensory signals, offering visual cues, scents, and even tactile and thermal cues. A bumblebee's ability to integrate this information is key to its success. Research shows bees can be trained to discriminate between flowers based on patterns of scent, texture, or temperature. One study even found that bees trained to discriminate non-visual scent patterns could transfer this learning to visually patterned flowers with a similar spatial arrangement. They weren't just learning a scent or a visual, but the underlying spatial configuration. This integrated perception of the world is yet another testament to the remarkable cognitive leap of the bumblebee. These astonishing abilities didn't arise in a vacuum. They are the product of millions of years of evolution, shaped by the ecological pressures these insects face. The life of a foraging bee is a constant series of complex decisions. The ability to quickly learn and remember the characteristics of rewarding flowers is essential for survival. The capacity for symbolic pattern recognition can be seen as an extension of this. Recognizing a general rule, like flowers with a bullseye pattern are rewarding, is more efficient than learning every individual flower. Despite their impressive cognitive feats, it's important to remember that bumblebees are not miniature humans. Their intelligence has its own unique strengths and limitations, shaped by different evolutionary pressures. Their difficulty in reversing a learned symbolic association suggests their understanding is optimized for rapid, specific learning rather than deep, conceptual understanding. The discovery of these advanced cognitive abilities in bumblebees is more than a scientific curiosity. It has profound implications. For a long time, the study of animal cognition was dominated by a focus on vertebrates, leading to a somewhat human-centric view of intelligence. The bumblebee shatters this narrow perspective. It demonstrates that sophisticated cognition can arise in a completely different brain architecture, suggesting that the building blocks of abstract thought may have deeper evolutionary roots than we imagined. The bumblebee brain is also a masterclass in efficiency. With fewer than 1 million neurons, it performs tasks that require vast computational power in a traditional computer. This makes the bumblebee a source of inspiration for artificial intelligence, particularly in developing more efficient learning algorithms. The principles of active vision, for example, are already being explored in robotics and self-driving cars. So the next time you see a bumblebee buzzing from flower to flower, take a moment to appreciate the incredible cognitive feat that is unfolding before your eyes. You are not just watching an insect gathering food. You are witnessing a mind at work, a mind that can learn, remember, solve problems, and even in its own way, think in symbols. You are witnessing the cognitive leap of the bumblebee, a leap that has forever changed our understanding of the animal mind.